The purpose of this blog, other than an occasional rant about sports, is to discuss hot-button issues in education today. With the technology boom of the last 2 decades, expanding educational opportunities have come about. Perhaps none is more talked about and varied in opinion than cyber schools. Although it might seem like it, cyberschooling is not a completely new concept, but rather has been around in some form for almost 20 years. Also known as virtual schools, cyberschools are a way of educating students outside of the traditional brick-and-mortar setting. This method of education is done mostly, or even entirely, online. As technology advances and time progresses, cyberschool continues to grow in popularity. In Pennsylvania alone, the enrollment in cyberschool for students in grades K-12 grew 4,773% in the program's first 10 years in the Commonwealth. With over 200 cyberschools in operation across the country, it seems as though this new method of instruction is here to stay. Recent estimates show that this new industry is growing at a rate of 30% each year. Any new methodology deserves a fair analysis before diving in. Just like the newest trends in classroom instruction or technology instruction, cyberschool has its pros and cons. Personally, I always like to start out with the positives, so let's take a look at the pros first. Cyberschooling helps parents and students customize their learning. Since the learning is done online, students can relearn material that they did not get the first time around and can move ahead if they have mastered the material. Parents are able to monitor student learning as they progress from module to module, which can provide the opportunity to ensure that their children are learning the material. In traditional schools, teachers tend to move at a pace that is effective for the middle-of-the-road students, potentially leaving learners who are having difficulty behind, while possibly boring students who are more advanced in the concept. Additionally, students in cyberschool can work at a time that is convenient for them. If they are sick, they can make up the missed material when they are well, or even at night or on weekends. In discussing this particular topic with Bob McRavage, a data and cyberschool administrator, he had this to say. Quote, "Students are digital natives, meaning that they were born into the technological world. They grow up with iPads and smartphones. As educators, we have a responsibility to prepare students for jobs and careers that in many cases do not exist yet that will undoubtedly incorporate technology. In addition, through the use of technology, teachers can efficiently and effectively differentiate instruction." Close quote. Another option within cyberschool, students can also work in virtual classes. Kelly, a parent whose daughter is about to enter her 4th year of cyberschool, loves it, saying that her daughter is thriving in that particular setting. Students get to see their teacher as well as one another and are also able to interact with everyone via webcams and special indicators on their computer screen. Tutoring is also available for students who are in need of assistance, in addition to the option to rewatch lessons. Behavior is often a concern for public school teachers, which takes time away from instruction. Without the need to directly address misbehaviors, teachers spend more time teaching and, hopefully, students spend more time learning. Cliques and gang-type behaviors are much less likely online than in a brick-and-mortar school. In traditional schools, some feel that students can fall through the cracks in terms of academics, while teachers are busy addressing behavioral concerns with other students. It is also less likely that a student in cyber school will be distracted by others, as they are typically the only person learning at that time. Without all of the day-to-day guidance of teachers and a regulated schedule, students must learn responsibility in order to meet module deadlines for material within their own time frame. Time management, self-discipline, and dedication are all required of students who are enrolled in cyberschool to help ensure that they meet the requirements and can not only pass the course, but succeed in becoming lifelong learners. Now it's time for the flip side of the coin and taking a look at the cons of cyberschooling. Students who are in cyberschool are less likely to interact with students their own age on a regular basis. With workplaces looking for more social skills from their workforce, this can be a concern for students who have not been able to interact with groups of students on a regular basis. Although web chat sessions can be set up, many feel that they do not take the place of physically, mentally, and emotionally interacting with peers on a daily basis. Likewise, in-class discussion is harder to replicate in an offline environment, and some would argue that delays development of important interpersonal skills. Quoting McRavage again, While students do interact with teachers and there are other activities to get them involved with other students, the social experience is not the same as the traditional school experience." Close quote. For each student that attends cyber school, the local school district loses funding to the chosen school. Although this would not necessarily take away from the average funding per pupil, it takes away from the general pool of monies available. With funding being lower in recent years than in the past, this can be detrimental during a time where many schools are underperforming when measured up against local, state, and national performance standards. Teachers' unions in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin have even filed suits against cyber schools, claiming that the loss of funding to such schools is like funding glorified schooling at the taxpayer's expense. Although such suits were dismissed, the notion is being analyzed by school districts around the country as they need to factor in the cost of cyber schools into their yearly budgets. In recent years, some states have even eliminated reimbursement funding that formerly helped pay some of the cost to districts for cyber school. Local school districts pay approximately 75% of the cost of educating each student in cyber school, but have little or no control or monitoring of student progress, according to local officials. School officials are not given information on the amount of time students spend in classes in cyber school, their grades, or how well they perform on standardized tests, they say. According to law, cyber schools are not allowed to release any such information without parental consent, which hinders monitoring by local school officials. As it is with any debatable topic, for every pro, there inevitably is something that can be perceived as a con, and in every con, there is a way of helping to turn it into a pro. And so the debate continues. Where do you stand on the topic of cyber schools? Feel free to add your thoughts in the comments section below. For more information on both sides of the debate, check out my online newspaper. Thanks for watching.